and then you need so it's a study that combines engineering, because at the end of the day you need to engineer and put it on the web so people can use it. And you need computer science fundamentals, algorithm, complexity, and then you need to know psychology, cognitive science, neuroscience, sociology. So when you combine all these possible disciplines to study art and effective computing, then one needs to view the technology with a holistic approach. So also so maybe this is also a stereotype or a gender issue, but recent statistics by Women in Science shows that indicates a high number of women graduates in psychology, anthropology, and arts. So what I'm trying to say here is that women, everyone have their own strength, and being a woman, we tend to be very good with people. We tend to be very good with conversations. We can handle ambiguity. We can do a lot of multitasking inherently. So I think these are really natural characteristic of a woman, which is very useful for technology in the future, and where women can contribute naturally. And there's some broad generalization that women are simultaneous, holistic, imaginative, intuitive, and holistic. And it doesn't matter if some people don't like that's just a generalization, but even if it's just a generalization, these are really good qualities for the future technologies. You need to be holistic, you need to be imaginative, you need to go beyond, you need to be simultaneous, because there are many different problems from different sides. You need to know how to tackle that. You need to be able to go very deep but yet very abstract, and all of this requires different sort of strength and perspective. It's not just about the knowledge, but it's also about the skills and the strengths that you have to put things together. And for example, studies in anthropology, ethnography, arts, and psychology requires one to be intuitive. You have to be intuitive when you're doing anthropology. You have to be very observant as well, because you're directly observing and testing reality. You've got to be very imaginative, not only in the sense of imagining design, but you have to be imaginative in using approaches to solving your problems. Kind of like, for example, if you have faced in a problem studying society or languages, try to take from different disciplines and see how they can help you to understand better, and what kind of experiments or approach that can help you to improve your understanding. And these are important because in art effective, the basic on the web, for example, technology on the web is communication. Then you have to be a bit tolerant to ambiguity, because there are some occurrences that you can't really explain, they're very ambiguous, and you need to be able to be very good at dealing with ambiguity. So reversing stereotypes about gender is also reversing stereotypes about technology. Is a new approach to studying technologies. So we're combining the new ideas with the traditional ones. I'm not suggesting that we forget about the traditional one, because it's been doing very well for the past few years, but we're migrating to a different sort of ideas of building technology for the future. Then we need to have new ideas on top of these traditional ones. So for example, we need to have for example, the field of application for effective computing is HCI, where you have communities in Africa, in Asia, in Europe, in South America, in North America, and you have to make a designation like what is the community of housewives using blog in Asia like, what is the community of housewives using blog in Europe like, so what kind of tools do they use to organize the activities, what is the common problems, needs are exhibited, how do we design that the tool is equally aesthetic. So when one crosses over to HCI, studying people and technology on the web crosses boundaries to communities of practice, cultures, and understanding of how tools are used, integrated, embedded as part of the community and culture. And so my suggestion to you that the future is a holistic approach. It's not a new movement, it's an old movement, and I'm taking this quotation from Clancy's latest article on antecedents of situated condition. So actually it's a quoting from him. and for example, inventing the future, taking in studies of anthropology, arts, and psychology of emotions, where women are doing very well, and I think can contribute a lot to technology. So women is privileged for the next generation of ICT. A more systematic approach to studying technologies on the web is needed, where holistic combines with traditional. So as again, I would like to state that this is when we need women in arts, psychology, and anthropology to create the next generation for ICT. So there's several women, like for example, in personality in anthropology, as well, women in anthropology. If you look at women in art, Frida Kahlo, a Mexican painter, she was influenced by realism, symbolism, surrealism, and you have women in art, Stevenson, Cassette, American painter and printmaker, who was in Impressionism movement. And for example, you have Tamara Nell'ambito, born in Poland, was a Polish art deco painter, and women such as Magnet Arnold, psychologist Lisa Altman Barrett, social psychologist, researcher, and maybe also a professor in social psychology. So, technology is not just technical, it's revolving around people. So, we need systematic approach to use technology from a user's perspective to engage more women in the field. And I will have an exciting tool study of people and tools in some form as an expression to support people and tools. So, for example, from my own experience as a young woman in ICT, working in Tokyo, I think one of the greatest heights of doing research is the experience, the opportunity to interact with different people, different parts of the world, trying to understand how different people solve different problems, how language is inherently most important and fundamental understanding in the aspect of becoming a researcher, and also in the aspect of building a technology. And it's been a really fun journey to become a woman researcher in technology. For example, I would have never dreamed to be able to live in Tokyo, to really experience a culture which is totally new, to work Japanese researcher. It's also to be able to go to different types of conferences. So it's always an enriching experience. It's not just boring. It's not just technical technology. Inherently in doing research, there's a lot of social experience, a lot of cross-culture experience. It's experience that I think it's very rare if you go to different domain, because in a research domain you have a more wider possibility of interacting with different people just based on their passionate interests, rather than on companies' goals or objective, or trying to sell things. But it's more on meeting people from different conferences, talking about inspiration, passions. Traveling is also interesting. It's a learning experience. So I would say that women, please join us for the next generation. And technology is a lot of fun. It's really not, as a lot of people paint this boring picture. It's fun, it's exciting, it's really romantic, and it really makes you feel more as a woman.